Well, doing, ladies and gentlemen. So, with one more anime, with one more show being finished, it is time to add a new one. So, as you all know, 91 Days has been completed by me, and I wanted to give you all the opportunity to vote for the next show, because these are going to be shows that have been recommended to me in various different forms, either through comments, either through just talking to people. The community page has often been one where I've asked a lot of people for their shows, so you will be able to vote for your show that you want to see via Patreon with a $1 tier option. Now, these will all be shows again that are very different in nature. Some of them are shows that, quite frankly, I know nothing at all about, and some of them are shows where I know a little bit about. So we're going to be rushing through these quite quickly right now. I'm going to go through them very, very quickly, because again, there are a lot of shows on this list. This is quite a big list. In all fairness, I'm planning on shortening this list down a lot more in the future, but as of right now, since this is going to be the first replacement poll that we're going to have on this channel, I want it to be quite expansive, to have a good mix of kind of everything on it. So we're going to go through these very, very quickly. Now, this will be the Saturday show, the Saturday replacement poll. Again, 91 days has been finished, so that's going to be something that's going to be coming on Saturday. So here's going to be the list. The first one is Planet. Now, I think the only thing that I know about it is the music. I'm pretty sure I've heard a song called Dango Dango or Dago Dago, one of those two. I think it's Dango Dango on Anime Music Quiz, and that's pretty much all I know about it. I think it's also like a calmer, more relaxing, more slice of life kind of anime, but I'm not 100% sure. So I think that's what it is, just based on the music, really, but I'm not 100% sure. So that's going to be the first show on the poll. The second show on the poll will be Flip Flop. I actually don't know anything about this show. I just know someone that recommended it to me like a year ago or so, and I was like, okay, sure. I've written it down, I've got it downloaded and everything, I just haven't watched it. So hey, Flip Flop is going to be on the list. Again, I don't know anything at all. Even the name, I'm assuming, just by the name, I'm assuming like a walking anime. That would be like a flip flop. So I don't know, flip flap, like a bird is flying in the air. That's basically the impression that I've got. A bird is just flying in the air, like, yay, I'm flipping and flapping my wings. Alright, next up, a show that I've done the openings for. The only really show that I've done openings for on this channel, Black Clover. Now, I have done openings for this show. I've watched all the openings like 6 months ago or 5 months ago on this channel. So if you're interested in that, you can find that on this channel. It's all the openings to Black Clover at that point. That's pretty much all my knowledge of that show. So I don't know that much. I've speculated a lot, of course. Seeing the opening, but actually knowing anything of the show, I don't know anything of that show at all. Next up is a show that I was hesitant of putting on this list, and I wouldn't have put on this list 3 weeks ago, but now I have. It's Boruto. Quick history with Naruto. I liked Naruto Part 1 a lot. Part 2, not so much. And I just finished it because I had already invested so much time into it that I was just like, yeah, let me just finish it just for the sake of it. And I was not interested in Boruto at all. I didn't give it a try. I just wasn't interested in it at all. But a friend of mine recently basically said, a friend of mine who basically shared very similar opinions to me when it came to Naruto, the series as a whole, basically said that he watched it, and while he didn't like the beginning all that much, the show has gotten extremely good lately. So that's the only reason why it's on this list. That's the only reason why it's on. Of course, if I'm watching it, I'll go into it with an open mind. But again, just my history of Naruto Part 2, I did not like it. I liked the beginning of Part 2, and then there's a massive drop-off in quality where I was like, okay, I'm really liking it. And that's basically what it felt like. It was just like, oh. Like it's a straight up roller coaster ride. Just drops off completely. So that's my history of Naruto. I wanted to make that clear because obviously Boruto is the continuation of the Naruto series. So I wanted to make that clear with this poll. Next up is Seven Deadly Sins. Now, Seven Deadly Sins, I used to hear so much about it. I used to hear so many people be like, oh yeah, so amazing, so good, so this, so that. Nowadays, I don't hear that much about it. Maybe it's finished or maybe it's finishing. What I know about it is there is this pig I think there's like an oversized girl, and there's like this buff dude. Is that Seven Deadly Sins? I think that's Seven Deadly Sins. Yeah, it might be Seven Deadly Sins. Like this super buff dude. I think bald buff dude. That's basically what I know about this show. I've watched like a friend of mine had like a Seven Deadly Sins game, and like I watched like the opening of that game, and I saw him play a little bit of it. It was like for a PS4 game or something, but I really can't remember much of it. I just can remember like this oversized girl, the pig, and like the super buff dude. That's basically what it boils down to, really. So yeah, Seven Deadly Sins will be on the poll. Next up will be Dark, a Netflix show. Somebody recommended me that on the community page. A lot of these shows have been recommended on the community page. So hey, you know, we'll get you know, down the list further on, and you'll see that there are a lot of the shows that are there have been recommended to me on the community page. So the YouTube community page. So hey, I always take note. Now Dark, I don't know much about it. I looked at the comment again, but I already forgot. But all I know is like it's a Netflix TV show. So it's a Netflix TV show. And it's called Dark. So I'm assuming it's going to be quite a serious show, like a quite not a funny, not a comedic, anything of that sort, but like a grounded in reality, or maybe like a horror show. Halloween just passed, but you know, who knows? It could be one of those, right? It's called Dark after all. Next up, a sports anime called Slam Dunk. Now, when we were deciding between Chihayafuru and Slam Dunk, of course, I left it up to all of you. I was like, yeah, you lot can decide Chihayafuru or Slam Dunk, and you lot chose Chihayafuru. But Slam Dunk was extremely close. I think it was like Slam Dunk at 45% and Chihayafuru at 55%. So hey, let's put Slam Dunk onto this poll and see whether it's going to be close or whether it's going to reign to be the victor this time. I know it's a basketball anime. That's pretty much all I know of it. And that's really it. It's a sports anime and it's a basketball anime. There you go. Next up, Maggie. Fun story with the channel. A long time ago, I decided between Gintama and Maggie. Ultimately, I went with Gintama, which I think was a great decision. I love Gintama. Top 3 anime of all time, in my opinion. But, you know, there's still Maggie right now. So, hey, maybe it's time for me to finally watch Maggie. Who knows? Who knows? What I know about it, it's like a Arabian-themed show, I guess. I'm assuming it's going to be like genies and like Aladdin, you know, genie, and obviously not played by Robbie. Damn, that hurts. That hurts saying that, damn. It's not like, it's not Will Smith, obviously, either, but I'm assuming it's going to be like, you know, the 101 Arabian Nights, an adaptation of that, because all I know is that it's like an Arabian show, Arabian themed, so, you know, we'll see if I ever do get to it. So that's Maggie. Next up will be a show that I wasn't sure whether I should put it on the list, whether I should react to it, because it's a show that I haven't seen yet, but I know too much, in my personal opinion. I know too much of this show to put it on here with a good conscience. But I'm gonna go through what I know very, very quickly, without spoiling anything. But the show is Dragon Ball Super. I have seen the movie, the latest movie, without spoiling anything. You know, with Broccoli. I have seen that movie. I haven't seen the TV series, obviously, which is what I would be reacting to. I haven't seen the anime, the TV series. But I know of 2 arcs. One of them is, how do I say it without spoiling? Black. I know there is a black arc. And the other one, without spoiling, or how do I go about that without, it's the end of the show arc. I know those 2 arcs exists, and I know a character, well, I know the two main antagonists of those arcs. So that's what I know about Dragon Ball Super, right? Without trying to spoil anything here. So I was very hesitant. It's why I never really wanted to react. I always memed about, oh yeah, I should just react to Dragon Ball Super. I'll get like tons of views, but I never really did want to react to it, like, really, because again, I know like the premise of 2 arcs basically. So it's Dragon Ball. If it's anything like Dragon Ball Z, you know, it's not like it's a big deal. Really, you're watching these shows like for the fights and whatnot. Let's be totally honest here. But I know I know like a bunch of things, and obviously, if the show were to win the poll in the first episode, I would go through everything that I would know, that I do know about the show, of course, as I always do with every show. But I just wanted to make clear that, like, you know, if you're voting for this show, just know I first of all have seen the broccoli, and I know the premise of 2 arcs. Alright. Next up, Demon Slayer. This show has been so hyped. So hyped. It has been so hyped. Like I tend to, like, you know, besides Vinland Saga, I tend to, like, not really involve myself with seasonals. Maybe, like, one seasonal each... actually, it's not even one seasonal a season. It's more like one seasonal a year. But even I heard of this show, like, oh, it's the manga is outselling One Piece. Like, oh, outselling One Piece? Oh. Let it have its moment. Let it have its moment. One Piece is forever. But let it have its moment for now. But like I've heard so much about this show. So much about this show. So much about this show. Obviously, it's made by Ufotable, which just means that, you know, animation-wise, you know, it's going to be top class, you know. But there is just so much hype about this show. Now, I should probably mention this. All these shows, besides maybe Dragon Ball Super, will be subs. Besides the TV shows as well, obviously they'll be dub as well, but Dragon Ball Super will be dub. Dragon Ball Super will be dub. Demon Slayer will be sub. I know there's a dub that's currently been released, but it will be sub as well. So yeah, you know, I just wanted to mention that. I just wanted to mention that, you know, that Demon Slayer is on this list, and I don't know anything about the show besides this Ufotable. And it's been hyped to flip. It's been hyped to flip. That's what I know about it. Alright. Next up, and now we're getting into some more TV shows. Now, we had Dark, obviously, previously being a TV show, but we're getting into a lot more right now. One of them being True Detective. Fun fact, when I, a long time ago, probably like a year ago, asked on a YouTube community page, if I was to ever react to TV shows, which TV show should I react to? Should it be A, The Expanse, or should it? Well, actually, no. I didn't pose. I didn't pose which TV show it was, but like the 2 shows that were recommended to me at all times were The Expanse and True Detective, and that's why I've always had those 2 shows in the back of my head. So when I was like thinking, okay, let me actually start a TV show, I decided The Expanse, not True Detective. So I'm gonna add True Detective on this list. Now, I remember reading the comments saying like you should only watch like season 2 of True Detective. Really? No, I would be watching all. I would be watching all. Some of you guys know I'm watching Gundam right now, and I'm going to be going through all of Gundam. Not even just like the hype parts and the epic parts, but I'm going to be going through all of Gundam. And I'll be doing that for every show. I'll be going through every single media of the show that I'm reacting to. Because what's the point of like watching something? You're not going to watch it all. You're only going to watch the best bits. Then you're not really watching the show. You're just watching highlights at that point. So yeah, we're going to be watching all of True Detective, if it gets voted. Alright, next up, and that's going to be the biggest one, the biggest one by far, Star Trek. And when I say Star Trek, I'm not talking about new Star Trek, I'm not talking about, I think there's Star Trek movies like the Wrath of Khan or something, but I'm talking about all. Now, I've had a lot of friends in my time that are Star Trek fans, so I know like the Wrath of Khan is like a movie, but I have not. I've seen like maybe 1 or 2 episodes here, like not from like episode 1, but like just maybe like 1 or 2 episodes here, where like I think they were like beaming up and beaming down or something along those lines, and maybe like a clip here and a clip there. But like, if I'm saying, when I say Star Trek, I mean like, you know, all the way from the very first TV series, like we're going all the way back. It's like if I was saying Doctor Who, I would be talking about like the 60s. That's basically what I mean when I say Star Trek. We're going back all the way. We're going back all the way, if I can find it. We're going back all the way, alright? So I just wanted to make that absolutely 100% clear that if you're voting for Star Trek, I'm talking about Star Trek. I'm talking about everything. Every single media, alright? You might be here, I might be here in like 10 years when I honestly don't want to do this anymore. You know, even if I don't want to do this or more in 10 years, you know, I might still be here and be like, yeah, hi guys, how you doing? We're here for Gundam and Star Trek in 10 years time. That's basically what the mindset that you got to put yourself in, alright? That if you're voting for Star Trek, it's gonna be Star Trek. It's gonna be all of it, alright? That's all I want to say with that. Next up, Peaky Blinders. It's like a old 1900 show, I think, or something. That's all I know. I know the only reason why I know that it's like a 1900 show is because I'm subscribed, obviously, to Blind Wave, and I saw, I think that I see them reacting to it right now. So like, and they're always like in 1900s background. So that's kind of how I know just a little bit about it. All right, so that's really what it boils down to with Peaky Blinders. That, you know, it's like a 1900s show. I think it's like a Netflix. Is it a Netflix show or Amazon Prime show? It's one of the others. It's a, you know, but it's one of those shows. All right. That's all I know, alright? Leave me alone. I don't know how to describe something that I don't know, alright? That I just know by name, alright? Just leave me alone. Next up, Chernobyl. Chernobyl was actually really... I really wanted to watch it, because I'm always very interested in, like, first of all, I'm always very interested in documentaries, but I'm also very interested in just, like, movie-mentary. Is that the right word? No, that's not the right word. But, like, you know, the movies or TV series that work like a documentary, but are much more high quality. And so Chernobyl is something that I'm definitely interested in. I think it's only like 4 episodes. So if you're voting for that, you know, it's basically going to be a month-long show, and then, like, it's going to, you know, the next poll will be there. I think it's like 4 episodes. It's like a very short, you know, series, but yeah, like I would love to watch that, honestly. It's something that I've really wanted to watch, but I've always been like, I don't want to watch it because I want to react to it. So if I'm going to react to it, if I'm going to react to it, yeah, perfect time. But if not, then not. Documentaries are probably, besides football, and when I say football, I mean soccer, it's probably my favorite thing to watch on TV. Because I'm a sucker for documentaries. I'm a sucker for knowing more. I'm a sucker for knowing everything. That's what it boils down to. So hey, Chernobyl, massive disaster in history, of course, that was swept under the rug. It's a TV show. They're Netflix show. So hey, I think, is it Netflix or HBO? One of those two. You know, it's the same as always. I don't know which one it is. But yeah, if you want to see that, obviously vote for that. Next up, Black Sails. Now, I have to put like a little asterisk here. I have seen Black Sails. I think the first 5 episodes or 6 episodes, I think. So I know like the general premise. You know, I've seen like, I think it's 5 or 6 episodes. It could be maybe more, could be less. I'm not 100% sure. Granted, I don't remember much of it. I remember I remember 4 characters. 2 girls and 2... Well, one is like a protagonist, one is the antagonist. So I remember 4 characters, right? But I've not seen, like, you know, anything more than that. So if you if you want me to watch it, vote for it. You know, I know it's like a very hyped up show. It's a very beloved show as well, and I really want to get back into it, but I just never really did. Like, I always start these TV shows, honestly, and then I just always run out of time. And if I binge it, it's all fine. But like the second I take like a little break, I just never get back to it. And that's basically what happened with Black Sails. Like, I watched it, I was like, okay, cool. I watched it for like a day, watched like 4, 5, 6 episodes or so, and I was like, oh, great. And then just never go back to it. And that actually applies to the next show on this list as well, which is Prison Break. I think Prison Break I watched more. I watched like 7 or 8 episodes of that show, like the first season, and then I just never got back into it. And it's just a common theme with me. So again, I almost hesitate to put these shows on here because I have seen some episodes, but with those shows, unlike Dragon Ball Super, where with Dragon Ball Super I actually know like finer details. With those shows, well, I have seen episodes, I don't remember them all too well. I don't remember the plot points. I remember like the general outlines. I know the general outline for Prison Break, and I know the general outline for like Black Sails for the first 5, 6 episodes. But like anything beyond that, I have no clue. So I want to make that 100% clear. So if you want to vote for Black Sails or Prison Break, you know, just be aware of that. And then we're getting to the final 2 shows, being Heroes Reborn. Heroes honestly was one of my favorite shows. Sylar. My name is Hiro. Yeah. I love the original Heroes, alright? Heroes Reborn, fun fact, I completely forgot that it came out until like a few months ago when I talked to someone on Discord. By the way, join Discord, description down below. When I talked to someone on Discord, I was like, do you remember like there was a Heroes remake that came out like a few years ago? And I was like, really? And I was like, I looked it up and I was like, yeah, Heroes Reborn. The ratings for the show aren't all that great. I think it's like an average of 7 out of 10, which, you know, would actually be, would be good in normal ratings, but like obviously with today's ratings, a 7 out of 10 is basically means that the show is bad. But I put it on here anyway because I love Heroes. So if Heroes Reborn is any good, you know, and you want me to watch it, hey, you can vote for it. And then the last show is a show that either just came out or is coming out. It's one or the other, and that is The Mandalorian. Now I have to say this outright because a lot of people are Star Wars fans. And while I have seen all the Star Wars movies besides movie 7, I've seen movie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I've seen 8, and I've seen A New Hope, which is like the in-betweener between like 3 and 4, I believe. Yeah, but it's between 3 and 4. So while I have seen Star Wars, I am not. I'll probably have to like watch the 7th movie before I watch The Mandalorians, I'm assuming. But I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I'll watch the movies, and I'll have fun. And while I overall enjoy them, you know, I think they're all good. I'm not one of those people that are like Star Wars is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So I want to make that 100% clear because I know as Star Wars fans, you know, they can be what's the right word here? They can be harsh, which I'm fine with. You can be as critical as you want, but I'm not going to be fanboying. Or I'm not going to be like when I see Darth Vader. Darth Vader and Yoda. When I see those, I'm like, oh, shill. But I'm not going to be like. I won't. First of all, I won't know all the inside lore, so on and so forth. I just know the movies, and I haven't seen the movies in a long time, so I'll probably like revisit all the movies if I ever watch the show. I'll revisit all the movies. But yeah, just you know, I'm saying this outright. I'm not a Star Wars fanatic. I enjoy the series, but I'm not a fanatic. So just to be 100% clear with this, all right? Just if you're voting for that, just know that, all right? But those are all the shows that it's a massive list. Again, it's the first time doing a Patreon list, a Patreon poll, so I wanted it to be a big one. Of course, there are going to be shows in the future. There are going to be more lists in the future, and there's going to be much more directed, much more targeted lists. AKA, for example, you know, I might, when I finish X, Y, and Z show, I'll have shows that are very similar to X, Y, and Z show. So say I finish I don't know, a TV show, then I might have a list that is just purely a TV show. Or say I finish a shonen anime, I'll have a list that focuses purely on shonen. You know, I'll have much more directed lists in the future. But as of right now, I just wanted to have like a broad list where again you can vote on you can vote for your favorite show that you want to win on Patreon. It's the $1 tier, $1 and above tier that you can vote for, and all fair go, of course. Just, you know, remember what I said about each show, basically. Just remember what I said about each show, if there is a caveat or not, if I've seen like 5 or 6 episodes, or for Dragon Ball Super, if I know like 2 arcs, plots, just be aware of that, alright? So that's all I wanted to say, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know when this video will go out. I'm assuming this video, I'll probably... let's have a quick look. Let me look at the calendar. I'll probably make it go live on... Let's do Wednesday the 20th. And let's make it run for a week until Wednesday the 27th. So this poll will go live on... Well, this video will go live on YouTube on Wednesday the 20th of November. And you'll be able to vote for it on Patreon until Wednesday the 27th. Because, you know, it will be... and then the first episode of this show will go live on Patreon on Saturday the 30th. And then the first episode of this, the winner of this poll, will go live on YouTube on Saturday the 7th. So, yeah. That's the way we're going to do it. I hope that makes sense to all of you. But, yeah. That's all I have to say, though, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have to say. Vote, and good luck, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this won't be the only poll because there's going to be a few more polls in the near future because we're finishing a lot of things in the near future. But I wanted to just make it a little bit big, a little bit broad so you can have some fun. That's all I got to say, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you all in the next one, everyone. Until then, have a nice day. Peace out and bye.